My 7-year-old son looked up at me in the middle of my sister's wedding, tugged on my dress, and whispered something that split my soul open. "Mommy, let's run away." Not in a playful, dreamy way. His voice shook. His eyes searched mine, not for permission but for protection. I bent down to ask what he meant, and he said the words no mother wants to hear. "You smile with your mouth, but not your eyes. That man doesn't make you happy." And in that moment, while the music played and the guests cheered and my sister danced in her white dress under a sky full of fairy lights, I realized something horrifying. I was trapped, and my child could see the bars I tried to hide from the world. I stood frozen. The man Liam was talking about, my fiancé, was just feet away, laughing with my father, smiling for photos, being the man everyone thought was perfect. He was smart, successful, charismatic, every parent's dream. To the world, he was a catch. But behind closed doors, his smile was a mask and mine was a shield. There were no bruises, no loud fights, no screaming matches. Just cold, calculated control. Subtle put-downs wrapped in compliments. Rules disguised as love. Silence that screamed louder than any fight ever could. I stayed because I was scared. Because I thought no one would believe me. Because I told myself it was better to raise Liam with a father than alone. But in that garden, under a sky full of stars and pressure, my child saw straight through the lie. And he gave me something I hadn't had in years: permission to leave. I scooped him into my arms, his little hands clutching my shoulders like I was his lifeline, and I stepped away from the music, from the guests, from the perfect performance. I found a quiet bench near the trees and just held him. That's when my sister found us. Her veil blowing in the wind, her face glowing from love and laughter, still untouched by the kind of heartbreak I was drowning in. She asked, "Are you okay?" And for once, I didn't fake it. I broke. I told her everything, about the fear, the emotional blackmail, the nights I cried in the bathroom with the shower running so Liam wouldn't hear. I told her how small I felt, how I stopped recognizing my own voice, how I walked on eggshells in my own home. Her joy faded into heartbreak, and she held my hand tighter than anyone had in years. "Then don't marry him," she whispered. "You don't owe anyone your silence." That night, I didn't go home. I took Liam, packed 2 bags, and went to my sister's house. I didn't text him. I didn't answer his calls. I chose, for the first time in a long time, to protect my peace over someone else's comfort. What followed wasn't easy. The calls turned into guilt. The guilt turned into rage. Then came the promises, the crying voicemails, the pop-ups at work. He swore he'd change. Swore he loved me. Swore I was overreacting. And for a moment, I almost believed him. Until I looked at Liam, finally sleeping through the night, laughing again, drawing pictures of just the 2 of us in a little house with sunshine, not shadows. That's when I knew I hadn't just saved myself. I had saved him too. But the world didn't clap for me. Some called me dramatic. Said I threw away a good man.
That I should have stayed for the child.
But what they didn't know was that staying for the child was killing the child's spirit. That every day I stayed, I taught my son that love looks like silence. That protection looks like fear. That peace isn't for people like us.
So I stayed gone.
I found a part-time job.
Started therapy.
Took online classes. Got a cheap apartment with thin walls and loud neighbors, but it was ours. And every morning, we woke up without fear. Every night, we made dinner and danced to old songs and read bedtime stories where the heroes always won. And slowly, I became the woman I used to be before love became a cage. I started writing again. Started laughing without flinching. And every time doubt tried to creep back in, I'd hear Liam's voice, "Mommy, let's run away," and I'd remember I already did. We ran toward peace, toward truth, toward healing. 1 year later, we live near the beach. Nothing fancy, but it smells like freedom. We eat too much sugar on weekends. We build forts with couch cushions. And when he says, "This is fun," I realize that joy isn't expensive. It's safe. My sister still visits. Sometimes we talk about that night, How one sentence from a 7-year-old changed everything. And we cry, but not from pain, from pride. Because I didn't just leave a man. I left a life that wasn't mine. And I built one that is. And to every woman listening, if you're smiling with your mouth but not your eyes, if your child looks at you and sees sadness instead of safety, please hear me. It doesn't have to be this way. You are not trapped. You are not weak. You are not crazy. You are allowed to choose peace. Not someday. Not next year.
Now.
My son gave me the courage to choose life. Real life. Loud, messy, full of love life. And every time I look at him, I know I didn't just run away. I ran home.